Good evening. Happy Sunday, Yonkers. Happy Columbus Day weekend to all my Italian friends and all the Italian residents of Yonkers. This is your weekend, folks. All my paisanos. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. Good evening. Sorry for the late start. Bunch of fireworks going off, making a lot of noise. And I just couldn't start because it would be disruptive to the show. But anyway, I started. I'm here. Happy Sunday. Happy Columbus Day to all the Italian Americans and those living in Yonkers here. Very large Italian community. Shout out to all my Italian friends. I have a lot of Italian friends, very great individuals. So I just call them friends. I don't, the only reason I even think about them being Italian is when we eat great food. I love Italian food. It's probably my favorite. So just so you guys know, in case you want to invite me out, you don't choose a Spanish restaurant. I just don't like to eat Spanish food. I love Italian food. Well, anyway, good evening. Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining me. I'm Freddie Vasquez, host of Basement Politics with none other than Freddie Vasquez. And tonight is Basement Politics Unfiltered, episode 3, season 2. And we're talking about the Yonkers IDA and the IDA Act of 1969. What is the IDA? IDA stands for Industrial Development Agency. And I wanted to talk about it because, one, it's something that's been mentioned a lot in the, news in regards to all the developments that have been going up. The agency plays an important role in bringing developments to Yonkers and seeing projects through in many ways. And I'll get into some of the details here in a bit. But I just wanted to start off by letting you know the definition, because you often hear the IDA. They don't always say Industrial Development Agency, so I wanted to make sure we get that. But anyway, let's start from the beginning. What is the IDA and when did it come about? Well, New York state legislation enacted in 1969 created the IDA Act of 1969. So the purpose of the IDA, or the Industrial Development Agency, was to promote economic growth and welfare of the state's inhabitants and to actively promote, attract, encourage, and develop economically sound commerce and industry through governmental action for the purpose of preventing, this is very important, for the purpose of preventing unemployment and economic deterioration. Okay, so the purpose of preventing unemployment and economic deterioration, if I'm saying that word right. So the goal of it is to encourage and stimulate the economy through development of different various projects in order to promote employment, right? To provide jobs for those within the area that specific IDA serves. Initially, the IDA was a New York statewide agency, and then it was amended to include individual cities, towns, and county IDAs. So that's where you come about with the Yonkers IDA, or the Yonkers Industrial Development Agency, which was formed when they allowed the different towns, cities, and agencies to create them. And again, it's to promote unemployment and and to prevent economic deterioration, or deterioration of the community around there. You see dilapidated buildings, drugs and crime are starting to increase. You want to bring in change to try to change the community for the better, right? But it's not an easy thing. Obviously, it's very complex, and there are a lot of factors that you have to consider, right? You want to improve the community, right? I think we all agree that we want our communities to be safe, We want them to be, beautiful, right? We want them to be clean. We want the quality of life to be one that we can feel safe, walk with our kids, feel comfortable in, provide, resources and opportunities, employment, recreation, education, very big education, right? It's one of the big ones. The IDA shall promote, develop, encourage, and assist in acquiring, constructing, reconstructing, improving, maintaining, equipping, and furnishing industrial, manufacturing, warehousing, commercial, and research facilities, and thereby advance the job opportunities, general prosperity, and economic welfare of the people of the state, or in this case, the people of the city of Yonkers, right? That's what the Yonkers IDA serves. Again, there were some amendments made to include industrial pollution control facilities, winter recreation facilities, and recreation facilities in general, which I like this, right? So again, there was an amendment made in 1970, 74, and 77 to include recreation facilities for winter recreation facilities, right? For kids in the neighborhood or the people in the community to have somewhere to go when it gets cold. Do we have these around? I think we're starting, maybe, I don't know. But also recreation facilities in general. So maybe the Yonkers IDA can reach out and we can, hook me up with some financial benefits. And I would love to develop a youth center, a huge youth center for the community, for the city of Yonkers, for the teenagers, young children, and even young adults to promote education and career opportunities and advancements. So, if you guys can help me out, says right here, you guys are here for the benefit of recreation facilities, right? Also, educational and cultural facilities as well. There you go. I'm big on education. We have an educational daycare center, and I'm sure there are other programs, nonprofits that also are promoting education. So this is why I wanted to talk about this because, and again, and the whole reason why I created Basement Politics to inform the people because much of this stuff, a lot of us just don't know. I don't know a lot of this stuff, and I'm learning, but it's interesting and it's very important that we know because we oftentimes hear of things being done, tax breaks being given to developers, this piece of land, city owned, being sold off, developments going up, and they're causing problems, traffic, all kinds of stuff, right? We make, we complain, and we, we voice our concerns, but we don't often know all the details. And it's very important to understand and fully understand all the details because that is the best way to approach the situation, whatever it is that you're, for, in favor of, or not in favor of. But you have to understand all the facts and the details. And it's a lot of a lot of documents, a lot of reading. It is. But it's very important, especially if you're someone that's going to be involved or are involved in the community and maybe, opposing developers or for development, it's very important to know this stuff. So this is why I do it. So, and I'm learning again, I'm learning right with everyone myself. So, I think this is very important. So let's get to the Yonkers IDA. And I want to talk a little bit about the Yonkers IDA, the people that are involved with the Yonkers IDA, and some of the projects that they have been involved in. I mean, there are a lot of projects. As you can see, there are a lot of projects going up. Some have already been completed, some in the process of being completed, and some are just in the phase of just presenting the idea or it getting approved, and it's going to start to be on its way to being developed. There are a lot of projects, a lot of projects. I was extremely surprised. I didn't realize how many there were, but there were a lot. So the Yonkers IDA, I'm sorry, has a board, and this is I found this very interesting. Right, it has a board of directors, and then it has members of the board, It has an executive director, has chairman, vice chairman. So, and I want to go through that because I find that very interesting. The people that are involved. Nothing negative and around. I just think it's very interesting. So I'm going to start with the Yonkers IDA Board of Directors. The Board of Directors, the chairman of the Board of Directors of the Yonkers IDA is the mayor, Mike Spano. Vice chairman is Peter Kisak, Kischak, Kisak. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, Peter. I apologize. Secretary is Marilyn Anderson. Treasurer, Melissa Nasarino. And then we have three members who are just members of the board. We have the Honorable Cecile D. Singer, Henry Dijon Balaj. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, but I hear that guy's very big in real estate here in Yonkers. And then Robert Espiritu. These are three members who are also part of the audit committee. So again, the board of directors consists of Chairman Mike Spano, Vice Chairman Peter Kischak, Kischak, Marilyn Anderson, Secretary Melissa Nasarino, Treasurer Cecile D. Singer, who's a member, Henry D. John Balaj, member, and Robert Espiritu, who's also another member. And so, yeah, the mayor's also the chairman of the Yonkers IDA Board of Directors. Anybody know if that poses any conflicts of interest, or I don't know. Maybe someone out there that has more information can, let me know. And then now you have you have a president, Jim Kavanaugh. He is the president of the Yonkers IDA. The executive director is Jamie McGill Spano, who I just recently found out is married to the city clerk, Vincent Spano. So is also the mayor's sister-in-law. She is the executive director. Chief fiscal officer, Sibi, or I don't know how to say this last name, Sibi. You're gonna have to help me out if I ever meet you one day. Sibi Omen, Ommen. Samantha Young is the bookkeeper, and Fiona Rodriguez is the administrative assistant. So these are the members of the people involved in the Yonkers IDA. And they're the ones that make the decision on whether or not they are going to provide financial benefits to the developers, right? The tax breaks that we hear, the land, and other benefits that they receive, primarily in tax breaks, right? So, and I'll go through some of those tax breaks that they receive. But I found that to be interesting. It seems like in doing some of my research that it's the same kind of circle of individuals that kind of run everything. They just involved in everything. And I'm not saying that's anything wrong. I don't know. Is it? You tell me. Is that something wrong? It's the same people. I mean, I just think it doesn't lend for difference of opinion, difference of ideas, new, fresh ideas. So I don't know. I think maybe should kind of change that up, because if you really do some research, they're involved in the planning board, council of the city, YIDA, and then I'm also learning about the Yonkers Community Development Agency, which is another development agency or whatever. We'll get into that also. I want to just show a comment. It's all people under the mayor's control. Well, I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot. I hear a lot of the mayor. He puts people in certain positions. Friends, family members, and look. Is there potential for conflicts of interest? Absolutely. Hi, Kathy. How you doing? Absolutely. Is there anything going on that we should be concerned with? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying there is. A lot of people appreciate what the mayor has done. A lot of people will say the mayor has done a great job. But there are also his critics. There are also people who say that, you know, this is just a way for people to make money and get jobs and all the other stuff. I don't know. I don't have an opinion either way. I like to base my what I say on facts as much as possible. So I present the stuff, the information, you give the opinions, you the ones that develop your ideas, and you let me know and we can discuss. So, but it's just very interesting that it's, seems like it's the same circle of individuals, just kind of rotating in different positions, having occupying two and three positions. And again, I'm not saying anything wrong is going on. It's actually allowed. It's actually allowed for city officials, elected officials, to be on the board of the industrial or the IDAs, the industrial development agencies. So there isn't anything wrong there. Me personally, I just think of the ideas and the freshness of the ideas, new people, different. I don't know, just different ideas. That's what I think. So the types of assistance, right? And we've talked about this, right? We hear a lot about the tax breaks and stuff. The types of assistance that the YDA can provide and often provides to developments and projects going up. One of them is mortgage recording tax exemption. Mortgage recording tax exemption, right? So a mortgage here in Yonkers carries a tax of 1.8%. But if they give them this tax benefit, right? If the Yonkers IDA were to give a developer the tax benefit, they would be exempt up to 1.5% of that 1.8% of tax. So that's a big reduction. That's a big reduction. And they may even get it completely. I don't know, maybe. Another assistance they receive is sales and use tax exemption. Sales and use tax exemption. The sales tax here is 8.875%. Well, if you qualify for benefits or help from the IDA, they say it can be significantly reduced. I say it can be eliminated, and I think it's been eliminated in some cases. Another benefit, another form of assistance is the real property tax abatement. Excuse me. Instead of paying taxes, and I think this is one of the biggest issues that and criticisms that people have, and I'll get to a case study, something that was brought up to Supreme Court by residents of, I believe it was Long Island or somewhere in Portchester, actually, not sure. I'll get to that though. But this is one of the areas, one of the benefits that a lot of developers receive that is highly criticized is the real property tax abatement. So instead of paying the taxes, paying property taxes, developers are allowed to pay what's called a pilot, right? A payment in lieu of taxes. So instead of paying the property taxes, they can negotiate an agreement with the IDA where they can they're offered a multi-year pilot, right? So they pay a lump sum, which I'm sure is going to be a lot less than what they would have to pay in taxes, right? In exchange, or as opposed to paying what they would have to pay normally, like everyone else in real property tax. So that saves the developers, especially of these huge buildings, right, that are worth so much money, take up over an acre, 2 acres of land, a lot of money, millions and millions of dollars. You add the mortgage recording tax exemption, you add the sales and use tax. And how does the sales and use tax benefit the developers? Well, when the developers have to build that high rise, that big building, they have to buy materials. So imagine buying the material, and I know because I'm involved in construction, and materials, and everybody will tell you materials have gone up lately, right? Supply chain has been disrupted, yada yada yada. But materials are expensive, and if you building a home or building in this case one of these high rises, the materials can cost a lot of money. So the sales tax on those materials must be tremendous. So they save on these sales tax, and also labor. Um, or any vendors or any services that they have to pay for. Let's say they have to pay an HVAC company to go in and install the HVAC system, or electricians or plumbers, and they have to pay this sub, whatever their bill is to wire up or do the plumbing in that whole building, and they don't pay the sales tax on that. So it's a lot of money that they're saving, millions and millions of dollars that they get. And I think some people's problem is why. Why do they receive such big tax breaks, such incentives? when these are rich developers? Can't they afford it? And then the argument to what people will say, well, if we don't give them the tax incentives, or if we were to raise the affordable housing ordinance, right, from 10% where it's still at, never changed, what's going on, to 20%, developers are going to be turned away. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Listen, I don't know nothing, diddly squat, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I believe they would still come. I believe they would still come. I believe that, the waterfront is prime real estate. They're not going to go to White Plains because they can't get that prime waterfront river front real estate in White Plains, New Rochelle, or anywhere else but Yonkers. And there's a plan to do the Hudson River water walk, or whatever you want to call it, from Manhattan all the way up to Albany. That plan has already been set. It's been put in place. It's been going for, since 20 years now. Phil Lamacone was here. He was involved in it, right? So they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop because of that. They're not going to say, well, you guys want 20%. We can't. We're just going to go ahead and scrap these plans of this whole water walk all the way up, going through all the river towns up to Albany. I don't think so. They've invested a lot of time, a lot of money already into it, and I think that there is leverage there. I think there is room to really negotiate, and I think one of the things I like to see personally is some money for schools developers. You guys are bringing in a lot of renters, and again, one of the primary purposes of the Industrial Development Agency is to benefit the people of the area that it serves. So the Yonkers IDA should always do, whatever they do should be done with the benefit of those in Yonkers first. But it seems like the people that are benefiting are coming from New York City, right? Developers, are they using local labor? That's been another argument. Are local companies getting jobs on these developments and these projects? Because the purpose is to stimulate jobs, prevent unemployment. I would like to know that. Does anybody know? Are they using local labor? The issue with affordable housing and the mayor vetoing the 20% is conflicted with his position on the IDA board. We need to change the Yonkers dynamics with the next mayor. That's a great point. That's a great point. And I think that's the issue that people have with the mayor being the mayor, and also being on the board of the YIDA, the IDA. I mean, how can he truly, you know, um, champion for 20% affordable housing if, in a sense, he's doing business with the developers? And I'm not criticizing, I'm just pointing something out. I'm just saying. Pilot programs are a burden to current residents. These developers are millionaires, multimillionaires, uh, billionaires even. I was told a pilot it will be beneficial in the long run. What about the seniors that need relief now and will never experience those benefits? Right. And again, the purpose of an IDA is to stimulate economic growth, prevent a city from deteriorating, to prevent unemployment, provide employment. And we have to really look at the benefits of the city of Yonkers. So if the idea is giving these pilots to these developers, these mortgage tax breaks, sales tax breaks, and other benefits, what is the benefit to the city of Yonkers and the residents of the city of Yonkers now? What is the benefit? Again, are local businesses being utilized? How many jobs are being created, both temporary and long term and permanent jobs? I was reading one about one development in an article where I think it created two or something permanent jobs. I was like, really? That's it? So again, who's really benefiting from the developments? And I think that we, as mentioned, need to really kind of reshuffle the deck there. Include other people because they bring fresh ideas. It eliminates the people's concern of conflicts of interest. Um, and I just think that makes sense. Not criticizing, but that makes sense. That makes sense. And I don't hear that often. This is what I understand. I don't hear that often from some of the candidates running for city council president or any of these other council positions. They don't bring this stuff up. This is something I haven't heard from any one of the city council president candidates, Matt. I'm sorry, Ron Matt and or Lakeisha Collins. Again, Lakeisha I'm sorry, Collins Bellamy. Again, I'm not criticizing. I'm not. I've had conversations with both. And they have great ideas. They do, but I haven't heard this. I haven't heard them mention the fact that that conflict of interest, while legal, is still there. So, what are the benefits also to the city residents? We hear a lot about the housing ordinance and increasing it, right? But what about the benefits to the city in terms of, hiring local labor, creating and retaining jobs? I mean, the apartments are already going to the people in Manhattan. Not to, can at least we get the jobs? Can we get the jobs? Can we get the work? Can we at least get the work? Right. So again, so criticism is nothing new to the IDA. They've been criticized by residents of towns and cities across New York State. Disputes over the benefits that they receive. Um, and we have to know, we have to understand the information. So we have to really know what it is that we're talking about if we're going to have an issue with what's being done. We have to say, hey, look, this is not right because according to the IDA, right, the purpose is X, Y, and Z. So what are you doing in terms of creating the jobs? What are you doing in terms of providing benefits for the community if you're receiving all these tax breaks, all this money that could be going to our schools, right? And there's a lot of projects, like I mentioned, there's a lot of projects going up. Um, I'm going to name a few. Some of the projects. One of them is the 1175 Warburton Avenue project by developers 1175 Warburton LLC. It's an $18.5 million project. And the developers are affiliated with Ginsberg Development. Also, the owner of River Tides project, which is a very huge development. Huge development. Anyway, the 1175 Warburton Avenue project is a 55 unit, kind of small compared to some of these other projects. It's 55 unit market rate development. It will take up 1.3 acres. And according to what I read, they should be containing some affordable housing units, according to the current affordable housing ordinance. So about 5.5 units should be um, kept for affordable housing. Those who qualify for affordable housing. So again, they're also the owners of River Tides, which is just located a few feet away from this 1175 Warburton Avenue project. And that one has 330 units. Wow, 330 units. That's huge. Anyone familiar with that one? River Tides? Another one that's going to be going up, and this is going up on Buena Vista, where I grew up. I believe it's going to be by the trolley barn down the corner, and Buena Vista and Main Street. And this is $181 million project. $181 million project. These guys got money. Why do they need tax breaks? These guys got money. $181 million project is called the Teutonia Buena Vista. Teutonia Buena Vista. That will have 412 units, residential complex. That one sounds nice. Although I wouldn't want to live there. It's too crowded, but it sounds nice. It's going to have a swimming pool, conference room, fitness center. It's going to be incredible, I'm sure. But how is this benefiting the residents of Yonkers? Because I highly doubt that a majority of the people that are going to be staying in these new developments are going to be those that live in the area now. What these developments are doing, and I was speaking with a candidate for city for one of the council positions. I won't say which one. And good point that was brought up. You're building these developments in an area that was predominantly, occupied by those who live at or below the poverty line. You're knocking down homes. Where are we locating those who are now going to be displaced? Or those who are now being affected by the increasing rents in that area because the developments are coming there or already there. So landlords who own property along these developments are raising their rents. So those who lived there at one point can no longer afford it. So where are we or the city are they factoring in those who are now going to be displaced as a result of these developments coming in? So you entice these developers with tax breaks, and other incentives, but what do you do for the city? The people that live here that are going to have to be displaced because they can no longer afford to live in the area. Could you believe it? That place is really an expensive area now, and those who own properties along there, these multifamily homes, 2 and 3 family homes, they're renovating, and actually a lot of them are being bought up and they're being renovated, and their prices are going up. So the people that live there because they could only afford to live there, because I'm sure many individuals, you know, choose to live there. No, don't choose to live in certain neighborhoods. They have to live in certain neighborhoods because that's all they can afford, right? They don't want to be in a high crime area, but that's all they can afford. So now you have the rents going up and they have to move. And where do they move to? So it's a good point. It's a good point. So are is the city thinking, is the Yonkers IDA thinking about that? And I love to speak to someone from the Yonkers IDA. This is actually part one. I'm just kind of doing a rough introduction of it. And part two will be next week. And I'll get a little deeper, deeper to make some connections. But I'm being a little bit more kind of surfacey here. So just bear with me, right? Bear with me. But yeah, so you have this huge project going up on Buena Vista, 412 units. There's a lot of projects. There's a lot of developments going up. Where the heck are all these people coming from? Who's moving in there? A lot of projects. I mean, you have to go on the page. If you haven't been to the City of Yonkers page, go on there. Go to the IDA page. It will show projects in progress and projects that have been completed. Some of them, are just renovations, been here already, but there are a lot of new projects going up. A lot of new projects. And so these are projects that were on their website that they are providing benefits to. And so this 412 unit with swimming pool, conference room, and fitness center is getting some help because they need support. They need financial support to build this thing, right? And I wanted to just talk about some of two completed projects, right? That were on the YIDA page. One of them being the Yonkers Raceway, which was a $300 million investment. Um, I don't know the details, but we will be getting all the details to that because again, we're going to make some more connections in part two. But I know that that didn't go the way it was planned. So another question I have is the YIDA tricked by developers initially, and then things change after just to get these benefits. They actually, city of Yonkers could have actually fought that. In Long Island, they actually fought, that IDA in the town wanted to give benefits to a casino, and it was shot down by the Supreme Court. They said no, casino is it's an entertainment, or it didn't qualify, it didn't fall within the IDA, guidelines or requirements. But another one I found interesting, as I was looking up, was the Castle Royale, formerly the Polish Center. That also received some benefits from the YIDA. And I don't know, did it provide a lot of jobs? I don't know. I know that some of the people that worked there stole from me. I once had a Christmas party there for my family, started making a little bit of money, wanted to treat my family to a party, and I had a $500 camera stolen from me. Could have been one of my family members. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. I doubt it. I really doubt it. I think it was someone who worked there. So I want my camera back. It was a Sony. But yeah, I found it to be interesting. So I started to look it up, and the Castle Royale was rehab, or the construction, the work was done, and it's owned by a company called Sri Balaji Corp. Sri Balaji Corp. Now, these guys own a lot of property. So my question is, if you own so many properties, why do you need tax breaks? Why do you need all this help? I mean, as a business person, I can understand. I would want to get it too if I can get any breaks I can get, right? I want to save money. But I mean, these guys own a lot of properties, and I'll just list some of the properties they own: 92 and 87 Waverly, 178, 180, 184, 144, 150, 158 Nepperhan. Those are all Nepperhan. Again, 144, 150, 158, 178, 180, 184 Nepperhan. 95 Linden, 29, 27, 25 Maple. Well, if you own all that property, why do you need any tax breaks, any help, man? Help me out, brother. Give you some money, give you some properties, right? So, yeah. So again, they've received tax breaks or benefits from the YIDA. So now that leads to the question: is, are they giving tax benefits? Are they providing these benefits for the right reasons, right? To the right projects? Are the projects benefiting the community? Are they doing what they're intended to do in order to receive these benefits? And where do we go see this? Because I was trying to do some research. I was trying to see what were the benefits of these projects once they received these benefits. How did the city and the residents benefit? I went in there one time. I was like one person in there working. And in 2014, and I was looking at some of the minutes. The Sri Balaji Corps, again, owners of the Royal Castle. What is it? The Castle Royale over there in Waverly. They presented in front of the YIDA back in 2014, requesting that they be provided sales tax exemption, mortgage recording tax exemption, and a tax agreement for one of these pilot deals. You own all that property and you're begging for benefits. You know who needs benefits? The homeless, mentally disabled individuals in Getty Square. They need some benefits, not you guys. Anyway, I just found also interesting, and this is a side note. I was reading the minutes, and there was a gentleman by the name, an attorney, who seems to be popping up in a lot of these minutes, named David Rothman, and he's an attorney with a law firm. I wanted to get a sound effect, but I just couldn't get it in time. No, that wasn't it. Anyway, David Rothman is with a law firm called Harris Beach. What do you know? Harris Beach, they pop up again. And the only reason why I mention it is because I'm always gonna forever remember Harris Beach law firm. There, the law firm that represented the gentleman that questioned Carlos's Burgos um, ballot signatures. Right? He questioned him, took him to court, and was represented by this prestigious law firm that seems to always be involved in everything. They represent the city council, and everything. I just thought that was interesting. I was like, there goes those guys again. Harris Beach. And side note, at the time of this meeting in 2014, one of the members, the CFO at the time, Deepika Mehra, was related to the gentleman who owned Sri Balaji Corp. I don't know. I'm not saying they did anything wrong. Just a fact. Just a fact. Just the facts, man. By the way, they also took out a PPE loan, or I'm sorry, PPP loan of $81,900 during the COVID stuff. And they got $82,783 of that loan forgiven. Guys just be getting money left and right, man. I mean, you guys have a lot of money. So again, I mean, it is the Yonkers IDA, providing benefits to projects that provide benefits to the community, or are they just providing benefits to a bunch of different projects, bunch of different developers coming in here who want to develop, and then what? And then what? And then what? What is the benefit to the residents? Because again, the developments are primarily going up in an area of town that is at or below the poverty line. The people who live there are at or below the poverty line. Now it's changing things, right? People there now are moving in from the city predominantly. The income of these individuals are much, much, much higher. The land around that area is now starting to be bought up and developed. Homes are being demolished. New developments are going up. Those that are not being demolished, the properties along there, the rental properties, the rents are going up. So the individuals who were living there because the rent was cheap, because the area was not so desired, are now having to contend with higher rents. Where are they going? They're going to McLean, to the east side, hang out with John Rubo. Go chill with him. I mean, over here, Southwest side is getting too expensive. Got to go over to the east side. Right? So, we have to, be more involved. We have to understand these different organizations, these different agencies, like the planning board, like the community development agency, which is similar to the YIDA, right? So we have to learn what they all entail. What are the requirements, the stipulations? Who are the people involved? How are they involved? What are the results? Where do we see the results, right? Where do we see the numbers? Where do we see the data? Where's the data of the benefits that we've received from all these projects going up? Hmm? Where's the data? I don't know. So, who runs Castle Royale for $500, Freddie? I don't know. Tell me. Tell me. $500? Clearly not. Carolyn, thank you. You're really commenting a lot today. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the comments. And if you have a comment, don't be afraid to comment. Comment. I want to hear from you, right? I hear a lot of this, so I want to hear from people. I want to hear from the residents. The mayor's sister, is that who runs Castle Royale? Runs it or owns it? I don't know. Runs it or owns it? Take a look at who is the consulting group for the casino. You're connecting a lot of dots. Yeah, there's a lot of dots. There's definitely a lot of dots. There's definitely a lot of dots. It's going to take some time to connect all of them. But there's definitely a lot of dots. And I'm starting to connect. I'm starting to connect. We must be more involved. I'm not here to create problems, to have any issues, complain, be a rebel rouser. But we must be involved, and I want to be involved, and there are people that want to be involved, and we have to learn. We have to know who exactly are the players. We have to know exactly what's going on. We have to know why things are being done, and we also have to vote. Very important. We have to vote. We have to vote, but we have to know who we're voting for. We have to look at their track records. We have to see what they've done. Many people want to get elected. They want to be the representative of a certain district. They want to be, legislator, county legislator, but are they wanting to do it for the right reasons? And not to get off subject, but our elected officials or those looking to become elected candidates that are in the race coming this November, you have to be talking about this stuff. I don't hear anything about this stuff. I hear same old stuff, the same old stuff, affordable housing ordinance, education, developments. But what are really the plans? What are the details? How do you plan on changing things? How do you plan on improving things? How do you plan on, making things better for the people of Yonkers, for those who are complaining, for the seniors, for those who don't have jobs, for those who are without housing? There's a lot of benefits that the YIDA provides developers, and they're doing it all the time. But where are the benefits for the people? Where are the developments for the homeless? Where are the developments for the mentally challenged and those that are out in the street in Getty Square dealing with mental disorders? Those that are addicted to drugs, where are the drug programs? They're getting younger and younger. How are we going to solve the overcrowded schools, the problem that we have more students enrolled in the Yonkers public schools than there are seats available? And what are we going to do for all those who are now being displaced little by little from the Southwest side as they continue to develop that area? Okay, so if you know she only works there, why are you bringing it up? Okay, hold on. Let me go back. I got to go back. The mayor's sister works there, doesn't own the castle, just a point of information. I think that it was mentioned because I guess she works there. Maybe she was provided a job. That's the benefit. She is a resident of the city. I was told that they owned it. I'm not sure. I don't know. And I'm not making accusing anyone. I don't know. The point is, these developers are receiving a lot of benefits. Some of these benefits are taken away from the city in certain aspects. The lack of tax payments that they're not, we're not receiving from these developers, all the tax breaks, the land that they're being sold, the developments that they're building that are blocking views for some of the residents who had these beautiful views of the Hudson for years, for years. And it's all about, it seems, the developers, developers, developers. But what about the people? And that's it. That's just my point. I'm not looking to accuse anyone of anything. I'm not looking to create a scandal. But when I go through Getty Square every day and I see those beautiful buildings going up, and then I see a lady on the floor sitting there obviously in need of a shower, a bed, new clothing, medical attention, psychiatric attention. And I see this increasing. I'm wondering what's being done. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so this is part one. I'm going to get into more details next week. I just wanted to go over a little bit the YDA. So the Yonkers Industrial Development Agency. It's an agency that was developed as a result of the IDA Act of 1969, created by New York State legislation, and with the purpose of improving employment or preventing unemployment, preventing economic deterioration within communities that it serves for the inhabitants of the states or the inhabitants of the city, town, or county that the IDA was located in. The goal was to provide opportunities for developers to develop in certain areas with the hope of improving the community, improving the environment around it, increasing the potential for jobs, for other resources, opportunities, beautifying the neighborhood, reducing crime, right? Stimulating the local economy. But is it being used in ways that is not benefiting the community, ways that it was never intended to be used for? Well, that's up to you guys to decide. I don't know. I just present the information. Next week on part two, I will be connecting dots. We'll be talking about several of the developments specifically and the benefits that they've received, how those benefits came about, who were involved, and what did it mean for the city of Yonkers. More importantly, what did it mean for the residents of the city of Yonkers? We'll be talking about that next week. So I urge you to please email me with any comments, questions, concerns regarding specifically about the Yonkers Industrial Development Agency and projects that have gone up, projects that are going to be going up. Tell me, good or bad. I want to hear from you. I do. These developments increase the city's tax revenues. How so? And I'm asking, if they're receiving tax breaks, how does it increase the tax revenue? I'd like to know, and I'd like to hear more about your opinions, your comments. Let me know. Let me know. What are the benefits? If you truly believe that there are benefits, what are the benefits? Let me know. So join me next week for part two, where I get more detailed about the Yonkers Industrial Development Agency. And maybe I can have someone from the YIDA join me for clarification, for more information, more details, and benefits of the YIDA to the community. Because as it looks now, a lot of the benefits are to the developers. I'm just saying. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Thank you for everyone who commented. It's a lot of comments. I see some people going back and forth. Great. I like to stimulate conversations. I like to do this. This is what I want to do. Get people involved. Get people talking. Remember, November's are coming. Elections, I say, are coming up in November. Which is not long away. So you have Lakeisha Collins Bellamy and Ron Mattin for City Council President. I think John Rubo is just going to win. I don't know if anyone's challenging Rubo. You have Tim Hodges and Anthony Moranti for District 6. That's a good race. I have my opinion, but I won't tell them. You let me know. And who else we have? Corazon Pineda. I think you're just going to slide on through that one for the City Council District 2 there. So anyway, Make sure you guys get out and vote. Join me next week for part 2 of the Yonkers IDA. Yonkers IDA. I'll get more detailed. I'm sorry, just reading some of this stuff in the comments. I'll be more detailed. We'll talk about specific developments like the Sawyer Place project. It was very interesting. And other projects. Oh, really quick. Rubo ate his opponent already. Rubo ate his opponent already. In the primaries, yes. But in the general elections, is he running against anyone? If not, there is no opponent. I'm upset that the city council person that lives in affordable housing is going to vote no because she is being controlled by the mayor. It's tyranny. I'm going to make a guess and say you're referring to Tasha Diaz voting no. I don't know if it's true or not. If she lives in affordable housing, I have no clue where she lives, but it would be interesting to vote no on increasing the affordable housing ordinance when you live in affordable housing. No, in the Republican race. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk more about it next week. And folks, please give me your comments. I want it. I want the emails. Keep them coming. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you next week. Part 2, Yonkers IDA. Hopefully, we'll get someone on from the Yonkers IDA. Anyone? Also, I want to announce James Nolan will be joining me next week on Sunday with Basement Politics with Freddie Vasquez for a second interview before the general elections in November. And again, I believe we're going to be having an interview with Lakeisha. Uh, um, I'm sorry, Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, the candidate for Yonkers City Council president. We're going to be chopping it up. I look forward to that. You know, great story there. Got to talk to her for a little bit, very interesting. So I want to present that to you guys in a way that's going to be a little bit different than my other interviews. I think you're going to like this. It's going to be dope. It's going to be a little more creative. So go Lakeisha. I see Erwin Vasquez there's a big Lakeisha fan. Go Lakeisha. Yes, go Lakeisha. Cottage, representing Cottage. That's no longer there, right? It got knocked down. Is it still being called Cottage? You should discuss the affordable housing and how it will affect low income people. I did do a podcast on affordable housing, the affordable housing ordinance, actually. Um, but yeah, no, that'd be great, actually, and I love to hear more about that from you and some of your ideas on that topic, affordable housing and how will it affect low income people. Maybe you can answer this question. I was talking with someone about the affordable housing development that was built up at the top of Elm Street there by Walnut. And I just thought that was interesting, being as that area is predominantly low income housing. And just wondering if they're going to do any all affordable housing developments near the water or on the water, or are they just going to push them over to the No Dine Hill section and group or affordable housing and low income housing to that area? That's also something I like to know more about. Go Rubo, Erwin. If you can get Rubo to come on the show, that'd be great. I saw him the other day. I saw him not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I saw him in Gino's Pizza actually. So we've been seeing each other a little bit more. Maybe that's we're getting there, right? I poke at Rubo. I told him that I poke, and he said, "Yeah, you poke a little." Hey, listen, come on the show. I want to talk to you, Rubo. I definitely love to speak with you. You're someone who's definitely involved in the a lot of the developments, kind of pushing a lot of the developments forward. I know you've recently kind of a change of heart in terms of the affordable housing ordinance. You say you were willing to revisit the idea of increasing it, not to 20 though, but you would be willing to sit down. However, you're a big developer guy. I get it. You're a business guy. You have your business there by the waterfront. It makes sense to increase the traffic there. It's just only going to generate more paper, more paper. So yeah, that depends. Okay, so going back to the affordable housing and where they're locating the affordable housing developments, that depends on where affordable housing development choose to acquire the property. I know, absolutely, absolutely. Now, are they looking to acquire any property along the waterfront for for affordable housing developments, or are they just strictly looking to develop to acquire property in certain areas? And also, how do we go about acquiring this property? And by the way, I did want to mention something. Maybe Erwin, you can answer this. The the um the YIDA owns several properties, and I wanted to know what I was trying to do a little research. What was the kind of the deal with that, with the YIDA owning properties? And I'll show you what I'm talking about here as I'll share my screen. And I don't know if you can see that there, but anyway, well, look, if you look at this guy here, right, Sri Balaji, who owns the Castle Royale. They own many properties here in Yonkers. So the developer, this company, the owner, very rich, do well for themselves, trying to understand why they need these tax abatements, specifically the ones he requested in terms of the mortgage, the sales tax, and the tax agreement that he wanted. But my question was, Erwin, to you is the YIDA, and I'm asking you because you're familiar with the YIDA. You're also acquainted with some of the members or those involved in the YIDA. And looking at this assessor's report from 2019, an exemption report. I saw that the YIDA owned several properties, one being 220 Yonkers Avenue, 81 Broadway says here. I think it's South Broadway, 81 South Broadway, 16 Water Grant there. We go down to here, 100 Main Street, right? One Vanderdock Street, one Pierpont Street, one Peen Lane, City of Yonkers, right here, IDA 26 Water Grant, one Alexander Street. And then now you have the Yonkers CDA, which is the Community Development Agency, and they own 63 Wells. And again, you have Yonkers IDA that owns 69 Wells Ave. And I'm looking and doing trying to do some of the research, and maybe this is why we can have someone from the Yonkers IDA come on and explain, and kind of just advise us and the people as to why is it that the YIDA owns these properties. How does that, how is it work in terms of their whole agency, and what are they there to do here in the city of Yonkers? That would be interesting question and stuff, information to find out. So maybe you can reach out to the person, have the person reach out to me. You can call me in my office, 914-467-0597. Leave a message. I'll get back to you. I would love to speak to someone from the YDA, maybe have you on next week for part two. Um, that's how the incentives are conveyed to the developers. It's a lease back. I gotcha. So I gotcha. Yeah, and so, this is some of the information that I think a lot of people, the residents of Yonkers need to know. We need to know a lot of this information, and not understanding this just makes it difficult for us to really be more involved in our city government, and in what's happening, in all the developments, all anything that's happening in Yonkers. We have to know, we have to be well informed, we have to do the research. Well, I'm doing it, and I'm trying to put it all together for you guys. There's a lot of information there. Um, so projects are based on financial viability of each project, not of the investor's individual wealth. Right, right. But can the investors also add more skin to the game, right? Maybe put up a little bit of their own money, right? Maybe to reduce or limit the need for YIDA benefits. Maybe they can chip in a little bit more. And what about also education? And again, these are some of the questions I'd love to ask someone from the YIDA. is there anything we can do or you guys can do in terms of adding stuff in the language that would require developers to do something to the educational system, provide some kind of financial assistance, or maybe purchase a property and rehab it to create another school or a recreational center or something like that, or educational center for the city, for the children of the city, the students of the city of Yonkers. I know they do parks and stuff like that, and that's great. But definitely our educational system is in dire need of lots of resources, lots of more funding. I would love to see a robust sports program on the Yonkers public schools. I would love to see the field not look like just a patch of dirt. Some of the fields are looking a little better, but there are many other school districts that have these robust sports programs that are amazing. The uniforms are nice, the stadiums are nice. They do a lot of things at the games, cheerleaders and all that show and stuff like that. That'd be dope. That definitely does something for the kids of the school districts, of the public schools here in Yonkers, to be able to be a part of that. I remember when I went to school outside of Yonkers, I was attending pep rallies for the first time. I felt like I was in an episode of Saved by the Bell. I was in a pep rally. Go Redskins. Wait a minute. I think they changed the name. Can't say that. you know, um, so yeah, I mean, we'll definitely talk more about this, next week. So I appreciate all the comments and stuff, and it was great kind of going back and forth and chatting with folks. That's great. That's what I love. I want to see more of this. Hopefully next week when we come on with part two and we get a little more detailed, a little more specific to these individual projects. We get down to the data, the numbers. We'll see. You'll see along with me. Is there true benefit? Are the city residents receiving something in return for what they give, right? And some of these bonds, right? Because the YIDA, and I didn't get to talk about that, but I will in part two, talk about bond issuance, the issuing of debt. Who's responsible for that debt ultimately, if it cannot be paid back by developers, the city, whoever? We'll talk more about that in part two of the Yonkers IDA Basement Politics. Thank you for watching. I appreciate the comments. You guys having interesting discussions there. I definitely want to see more of that. Thank you very much. Enjoy your rest of the weekend. A few hours left of the Sunday. Some of you are off tomorrow. Enjoy your day off. I know I'll be off. I'll be office closed, relaxing, and much need of a break. Anyway, thank you for watching Basement Politics with Freddie Vasquez. Please email me at politicwithfred@gmail.com. Questions, comments, topic ideas. I want to hear from you.